A lot of discussion these days about the Republican Party. Whither the Republican Party, as some people ask it. We know from our data that the ranks of those who identify as Republicans has been shrinking. We've looked at it in various ways, but here is a new angle to trying to figure out what's going on with parties in America today. We look at the composition of each of our three political groupings, Republicans, Independents, and Democrats. Let's look at the Republican Party. When we break up the Republican Party into groups based on race and ethnicity and ideology, what do we find? Well, we find over 6 out of 10 Republicans in this country today are white conservatives. Maybe not a great surprise, but that's almost 2/3 of the Republican Party who can be identified in that fashion. Another, perhaps a fourth to a quarter of Republicans are white moderates, relatively few white liberals, and then, and this is important, there are relatively few people who identify as Republicans that are people of color, that is, blacks, Hispanics, Asians, or others who don't identify their race in any way. Let's shift over to the Democratic Party. Pretty different pattern there. Only about 1 out of 10, a little more than 1 out of 10 Democrats are white conservatives. So that's a huge difference. Democrats considerably more likely to be composed of white moderates and white liberals. And then there are a lot of people of color in the Democratic Party. About 20%, 1 out of 5 Democrats are African Americans, and there is a larger component of those who have other ethnic identities, that is, other than white, including Hispanics and Asians and others who don't give their race in any one specific category. Bottom line out of this is stark differences in these parties. Perhaps not surprising to you if you follow politics, but the Republican Party today, at any rate, very much so, is the party of white conservatives, whereas the Democratic Party is a much more variegated political entity composed of white moderates and liberals and a lot of people of different races and ethnicities. I'm Dr. Frank Newport, Editor-in-Chief of the Gallup poll.